Is Scott Parker ball anti-football? That's what Clarets fans are saying. We should be on the horror channel. Woody says it's comfortably the most boring Burnley team I've ever seen, and I've been watching them for 48 years. Welcome back to our Clarets Walk. This week, we're asking that question. We've called it boring, but now we're going to step close further. Is it anti-football, what we're watching at the moment? We're talking about the number 10 position as well, what should be happening with that. February fixtures, we're looking back at January, who should get the player of the month, the unsung hero, and we're completing our worst ever Burnley squad today with our worst ever midfielders. We've got Dan, Jordan, and of course Connor back with us. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, first of all, for getting us up to 200 subscribers. That's massive. That means so much to us. So we want to say a massive thank you right off the back. Right then, before we get into this anti-football debate, let's just have a quick talk about a refereeing decision, which I'm sure you're all going to want to talk about. Anyway, shall we jump into it? This is from the Portsmouth podcast. Dozell fourth keeper. Dan, did they get away with one?
Yeah, they did, 100%. You know, there's nobody in the right mind, even the most staunch Portsmouth fan, can say that that's not handball. He catches the ball, then drops it, bounces it a few times, and then kicks it clear. You know, it's 100% a handball, but it would be remiss of me to say that it cost us the game. We've spoke before, and I've said you need to take these decisions away from the referee. You look at the Plymouth game, we had 4 penalty shouts, 2 of which were stone walls. One was a handball, one was a foul on Fleming. We won 5-0. No one talks about it. In this instance, yeah, that's a penalty. It's 100% a penalty. They've got away with one. But we shouldn't be here talking about dodgy decisions and what have you. We should be here talking about what a fantastic win it was, and we won 3-4-0, and we're not. We're talking about dodgy decisions. So, yeah, it's a bad decision. Everyone who's got eyes can see it, but it's our own fault that we're now talking here about a boring 0-0 and refereeing decisions instead of a Burnley victory. But, yeah, they've got away with it 100%.
Okay. Let's see a few more comments about the game. These are from some Burnley fans and others. A disgrace to the Championship. Hands down the most boring football team on the planet. Absolutely awful. Parker just stood there with his hands in his pockets. We are not going up. John says it's getting to the point now where I'd like to see us concede a goal or two just to see how we react, because we can't carry on like this till the end of the season. Today was utterly dreadful. Mike says we should have had a penalty and won the game, to be honest, but we didn't deserve the win had we even got that. So, Jordan, what's going on this week?
Right, you know me. I've been on this podcast a while now, and I'm not a big fan of negativity. But it's getting hard to the point where you can even argue against them. It was boring. It's not anti-football. It's cautious football. Let's have it right. He's more bothered about this defensive record than he is about scoring. You know, and that's evident. I mean, look, he's bringing Barnes on in 88th minute. Nothing's going on. You've got Benson sat on the bench. And another thing, you've got 4 players on that pitch. You've got Sarmiento out of position. You've got Foster out of position. Fleming out of position. Who's the other one? There are another player who's out of position. Come on, lads, help me. There were 4 of them.
Anyway. The winger, other winger.
Anthony. No, Anthony were in position, I'm sure. Anyway, the point I'm... Oh, yeah, good point on that one. But yeah, the point I'm making is, I don't understand when you've got players fit and ready to go in their actual natural position. Look at Foster, he's big and he's strong. He's not a winger. We know he's not a winger. It worked against League One Reading, and I was just hoping to God now, looking back, I hoped he'd have had a dreadful game because he seems to have gone forward with that. Fleming isn't a striker. Let's stop pretending he is. He holds up the ball well. He gets in late runs well. He's not somebody who's going to take the ball in the half turn, take 2 or 3 players and have a do. So once again, it's just coming down to the fact of it's glaring Parker in the face, the changes that need to be made. But has he got the fire to make them? Is he worried about making them because he's got found something that doesn't concede? Who knows?
You look at that game and you think there were some subs that were easy subs. Benson for Foster. You could have put in Shelby for Laurent. You could have put in any other striker for Fleming. And given
I was screaming Shelby all game. All game I was screaming for Shelby.
He won't play him.
Strange.
There was a Pompey fan, and this got quite a lot of views, which basically said, Connor, look, I'm not having a go at you here, but James Trafford was wasting time from minute 2 when he received the ball back. And they were amazed that a team in third coming to a team in the 20th would do that kind of tactics, and hence this anti-football has come out. This was the response from a Burnley fan to him. He says, it took you one game to see what Parker either doesn't see or care enough to change, and even some of our fans who will just refuse to criticise almost anything. It's been like this all season, and some people are only just waking up to it. It boils my pee and it bores me to death. So then, Connor, I mean, we can't blame James Trafford for it, can we? The criticism isn't there. He's been told, certainly in the last, I think, from the Leeds game, he's been told to do this. But it's anti-football, isn't it?
No, I've been trying to back this sort of football. I've been trying to defend Parker. But I can see where this anti-football is coming from, but like Jordan said, I think we're just playing a bit too cautious. I just want to see us give it that. I want to see us risk it a bit. I want to see us commit maybe a few more men forward and bring in a bit of creative players like Marcus Edwards. But yeah, I can't blame Trafford because he's told to do that. But I just like to see us make a few more risks to shut up these anti-football Scott Parker people.
There's another one who Larry also said, I know, but when we sped up the play, you lot, as in you lot in Portsmouth, looked panicked. But for whatever reason, Parker's tactic is to control game pace from minute one. It's not Trafford, it's what he's been told to do. We are a frustrated fan base this season. And Dan, when you come out of Fratton Park and see the Leeds scoreline, I'm guessing it only just shoves into a bit more of a pickle that you're in, doesn't it?
We're third, lads. Calm it down.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, it is a concern. I agree. We've backed Scotty P, and we still will do. And Connor, we see that scarf. We know what you're all about. But it is a concern now. You know, like Jordan said, and also Connor, I would love Oxford to score in first minute so we can forget about the records. We can forget about, being the best shutout defense, all this, that, the other, because it seems we're too focused on let's keep this record, which it's nice to have with 9 goals in 30 odd, 20 odd games, whatever. But it is now promoting that negativity. We are now too concerned about not conceding rather than going on and winning games. And as lovely as it is to have a nil, the other side is equally frustrating for fans. You go to the football to escape regular life. You want excitement. You want to watch goals. You want to see something, cheer something on. No one's cheering on 0-0. I'm not. Nobody else is. These young lads aren't either. You want to go and see goals. So let's just expand it a bit. I get the frustration now. We've all three of us have backed Parker, have backed Scotty P. But now's the time, we're getting to the thick end of the season. This is just becoming a bit frustrating now. We need to see some invention. We need to see some going forward. We need to see some goals. Crikey. It's getting beyond a joke.
Yeah, I did say back a 0-0 with Burnley, you'll make money. So hopefully you all did. We'll be doing it again on Tuesday night.
You backed us, didn't you?
Oxford. I did put 1-0. I did have you in my aways. Yeah. Anyway, less on that said, the better. Yes, let's talk about this record. I mean, the admin's tweeting it out. It's a Clarets record equaling 20 league clean sheets in a single season for James Trafford, which is fair to him, isn't it? He deserves that accolade. We also marked a record 734 consecutive minutes and counting without conceding a goal in all competitions, a record previously held by Jimmy Strong. It's a remarkable achievement. Well, it would be, wouldn't it, Jordan, be even more remarkable if in the other end you weren't getting the same number of goals?
It would be. It still is a remarkable achievement anyway, and that's more of on an individual space for Trafford. And I might point out that against Portsmouth, on the goal saving side, he was fantastic. That double save were something really to behold. I don't agree with his time wasting. He isn't time wasting. If you watch, it's the weird tactics. It doesn't make sense. Are you on about where he stands there with the ball at his feet and he waits players to come onto him so he can open the channels? Now, it's all right doing and opening the channels, but you need willing and ready runners, not leggy players who have done 3 games in the previous week. So it's not a tactic that works, I don't think. But I can agree. I don't like this going out in 90th minute and saying your hamstring's gone. It was funny against Sunderland. It's good against Blackburn because who cares? You're winning 1-0 already. Not against Portsmouth, man. It's aggravating. But yeah, no, it is a good record. It's something that's going to stand for years and years to come. We already know that. But now you've done that. So maybe let's take the shackles off. Let's look at who we've got and let's stop sponging the individuality out of every single creative player that we've got there, because that's how it feels. He wants them to play as the same player. Why don't you give them a bit of freedom against Oxford? Let's see what they can do.
Yeah, we are recording this, of course, before Oxford, and of course we'll talk about the FA Cup game to come in a second. So first talk about number 10 roles, though, Connor, because that's also come up for a bit of discussion. This was from the Burnley Way. If you don't follow the Burnley Way, go and do so. That number 10 position is absolutely crying out for this guy. He could be the difference. Hope to see him in the matchday squad soon. First of all, do you agree with that? And where do you stand on who is the best personnel for this number 10 role?
It's tough because we've got a massive amount of players that can do this role. Aaron Ramsey's proven in this division that he can do magic, but I do think Zian Fleming is the one to play behind. He's not a striker, and I've said this how many weeks now? 3 or 4 weeks.
Every week
for like the last however long.
He's not a striker. Can we just play him in the damn number 10 and sign a striker, that Gooey or whoever the hell from Chelsea? Sign somebody, for the love of God. Play Ramsey, but I want to see Zian Fleming because he's not a striker. Thank you.
Okay. Tell you what, Connor, you were very, very quiet when we first met you. These two are rubbing off on you. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Knocking about with me and Dan would do that to anyone.
That's right. Right then, Dan, do you agree?
Yeah, I think it's right. Fleming's he's all right, but he's not an out-and-out striker. I think Ramsey could be a good player. I think there's an argument to put Barnes up there as a target man. He's not the answer to our prayers, don't get me wrong. But to have Fleming playing off Barnes takes the ball down and knocks it off. But there has to be somebody else out there playing the way in which we're playing at the minute. It's not working. It is, yeah. Defense, brilliant, marvelous, but we need to score, and we're not scoring. So what we're currently doing clearly isn't working. And don't get me wrong, I think Fleming's a good player. I think Foster's a good player. I think Ramsey's a great player. I think Barnes is Ashley Barnes. But I think if they all played in the right positions, we'd score. But he has this insistence on doing it this way, and it's just not working. I know it's negative, and people will say, "Oh, you're too negative," whatever. But tell me I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
No, I'm not. Shut up, Jordan.
No, right. I actually agree.
Let's leave Portsmouth alone for a bit, shall we? Let's focus on what's to come in February. Massive month, which of course they all are now as we get into the business end of this. Of the season, yes, so a small trip to Oxford, small visit of Oxford, as we've already mentioned. Then we'll talk about Southampton in a minute, and then for me, Jordan, there's three winnable games there on paper anyway. Hull at home, Sheffield Wednesday at home, and a small trip to Deepdale.
Well, I've broke down these games just before we came on air today, and I just put a few little pointers. So let me have a look. Hopefully, Scotty P is watching this and he can take something from my knowledge. So I've gone Oxford, score. I've gone Southampton, score. I've gone Hull, score. Yes, you can see where this is going. This is pretty evident. Yeah, Scott, come on, man. Let's get some goals in. These 3 winnable games, realistically. Let's take everything out of there. Southampton, I think we've discussed before, cup games I'm not really bothered. Let's just play some fringe players. Let's give some injured players a run out. every other game with a team of our strength, we should be beating every single team there, and quite comfortably. Let's stop the square pegs in round holes. Let's get them back where they should be. And I know we were talking about Ramsey. I don't think he'll touch the pitch this season. If he does, it'll be very late on, because I don't think he's anywhere near to fitness. But with the team we've got, we should be steamrolling every single one of them. But the thing is, we're not going to, and we all know that as a club, and that's hurtful.
You've stolen my next question for Connor there, but we'll ask it anyway. Connor, which fringe players, do you expect to see at St Mary's this Sunday?
Probably Aaron Ramsey, one of them. Let me look at the team now, because it's all gone out the window there. Probably Aaron Ramsey. Let's have a cheeky look here. Give Hladky a go, why not? Joe Worrell. Shirandi Sambo, he seems to have disappeared. Where's he?
Yeah, where's he gone? Where is he gone?
Where he's gone.
Yeah, John Joe, Voldemort, get him on.
Oh, we need to. I think he could be a big difference in this league.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, let us know in the comments who you'd like to see start against Southampton. Also, we've got to the end of January now, so we need your January player of the month. We do things a little bit differently, though, here. Instead of just picking out our best player, we pick out the unsung ones, the ones that aren't going to win the official awards and who deserves a bit of flowers. So one name from each of you with some brevity, if that's okay. Dan?
The obvious one, I'm going to take it away from you guys, boys. The player of the month is Steve, the unsung hero, CJ.
Yeah.
And the record speaks for itself. He's a fantastic player. Steve gets applauded. CJ should also.
Jordan.
I'm same as Dan with the first one. Steve, I think it was just giving player at year now. If it's not going to change. But I'm going to go for my unsung hero a little bit different, and this has come from what I've seen as a mass improvement and a mass change in attitude from the lad, and it's got to be Jayden Anthony. He looks so much more. Oh, damn it! He says he just looks so much more happy and happy. That won't scream a competent footballer. He looks more adjusted to that position. He's looking to get forward. He's breaking the channels. We're seeing the serious skill of him. And when we're talking about engines, does that lad stop running? Because he doesn't seem to get.
Yeah.
Okay. Connor?
Well, I think it's just the same as Jordan, really. Steve is the main one. Jayden. Because I thought I was going to be smart there saying Jayden Nance, because everyone seems to hate on him. But then Jordan has to pipe about nowhere. Cheers, mate.
No, I've become a big fan of his recently. I've become a really big fan of his.
All right. Okay. You can help us with the final question this week. We're asking who's the worst midfielder that you've ever seen play in a Burnley shirt. We've been doing this because if you've not been following us, the month of January has been rubbish. So we've put together the worst ever Burnley 11. We've done goalkeepers, strikers. Last week we did defence. This week, the last group is our midfielders. So have you got a name each? Let's go round. Connor, can you kick this off for us? Who's the number one worst player you've seen?
I'm going to go with Danny Drinkwater. Sometimes I forget we even signed him. On loan from Chelsea. Danny That's all I need to say. Danny Drinkwater.
Okay.
Shocking.
Jordan.
I've got a few here, but I'll bang one name off and try and intervene a few more in after Dan's pick. But I'm going to go Frederick Ulverstad.
Oh yeah!
Wow.
He was a pretty pointless player. Did he do anything? Did he touch the pitch? I just remember he had a really funny shaped head, like it were only really filled out. It looked a bit like Tintin, but yeah.
Right.
A bit naff,
good stuff, Dan.
Well, I have to give a shout out to a good mate of mine called Stig. He's only got 12 months left to live. He's not dying. He's just getting married. A couple of names here. And the one which I really like is Keith Tracy. I think he's, if you remember him, he
was debatable on that, you know.
I had him.
I had him and Joey Goodjohnson.
Oh, no, quite good, Joey. Do you not reckon? I thought he was quite good.
He'd fit in well with this team because he kept passing backwards. But my pick would be Keith Tracy on that one.
Good stuff. Jordan, any more on your list?
Oh, I'll give him all then. Why not? Let's see what we're thinking, boys. So obviously I have Fred Overstad. You said Drinkwater. I thought a pretty blatant one that stood out and nobody picked it with Dale Stevens. He were god awful when he played for us.
Oh, he were terrible. Yeah, no, fair enough.
He did not but slate us the year before and then beg for a contract the year after. Strange fella. This is one that I wrote down. I got this off my boss actually, Dan. But I thought this would be somebody you'd be more into. Is it Van der Schaaf?
Oh no, my mate Mark is is a local coroner of the parish. He said Remco van der Schaaf.
Oh yeah, Van der Schaaf. Yeah. Remco van der Schaaf.
Yeah,
and
he was
my,
terrible.
And my last one were, it's not even necessarily that this lad were bad. He just didn't perform for us like we thought he would. Nathaniel Chalobah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just didn't play well for us. He wasn't a bad player, but he just didn't play well for us.
He went on to play well afterwards, but he was horrendous for us.
Drinkwater, he won Premier League, but he was absolute garbage for us. And I had him down as my first pick, Connor. Yes, so and so.
Right, good debate that, fellas. I think we've got enough for 2 midfields there at the end and all that. Thank you very much. Let us know in the comments if they've missed any of them. I'm sure you will. Good luck against Oxford. Enjoy the FA Cup game. Are you on telly this weekend? Do we get a chance to put our feet up and cure my insomnia this weekend? Are you on BBC or ITV? No?
I think it's a rare occasion we're not, actually.
If you want to cure insomnia, go and watch a Blackburn podcast. That'll get you to kid. Don't you worry about that.
Hey, don't you slate our Blackburn podcast. It's pretty good, our Blackburn podcast, I'll have you know.
No, there's some good lads on there. There's some good lads. I really like Tom. I think he's a good lad.
Right. Yes. Good looking at these games. We'll see you in 7 days' time to review all of it. Let's hopefully, fingers crossed, Manifest will be talking about some goals for once. See you then.